Watch this. We're going to react to it. This is following the Xbox Game Showcase of 2024. I did this with the Starfield Direct. I wanted to be a separate stream. I owe you guys a bunch of members. I'm going to gift those members. I'm going to end the previous stream. We watched the Xbox Showcase together, and now we're going to watch this together, and then we're going to watch the PC Gaming Show as well, all right? Killer show by Xbox, and now we're diving into this. I'm going to end the previous stream and redirect everybody over. And we're going to watch this.
Hello, and welcome to Treyarch in Los Angeles. And thanks for joining us today. We're excited to share what we've been working on for the past few years. For Black Ops 6, we really wanted to give ourselves the time to craft something truly great. This means we're delivering a new level of polish and innovation across all parts of the game. I've been working here for over 20 years, and I can tell you that we have something special on our hands with Black Ops 6. And I know that the team are excited to give you a deep dive into our campaign and global innovations across the entire game.
With Black Ops 6, we're taking players to a new but familiar era, the early 90s. In true signature Black Ops fashion, our story builds on real history, thrusting players into a conspiracy where a shadowy force has infiltrated the highest levels of the US government, branding anyone who resists as traitors and forcing players to go rogue for the first time to fight the very machine that created them. The team has been meticulously crafting every aspect of this game to deliver the fun and attitude players expect from the Black Ops franchise.
Multiplayer is of course here and brings the Black Ops style and provides a playground for the brand new Omni movement system. New way to push beyond your limits and move like an action hero. You'll see a sneak peek of that later today. Round-based zombies is absolutely back and better than ever, and you can be sure it's full of surprises. With that, let's step into the mind-bending campaign experience we've been crafting with our partners at Raven.
No turning back now.
Every Call of Duty player has a favorite campaign mission. When we set out to make Black Ops 6, we were focused on delivering missions so iconic that they stick in your memory long after. We are bringing that action-packed blockbuster feel to every step of the narrative. We are giving you more variety, more dynamic moment-to-moment gameplay, and more options to finish each mission.
We can do this loud or quiet.
The game is packed with unexpected moments of Black Ops mystery. It's a high-octane spy thriller where you're never sure who to trust and what's real. And it's all set against the backdrop of the early 90s. The Soviet Union was crumbling after the fall of the Berlin Wall and the end of the Cold War. The US is the only remaining superpower. The Gulf War was dominating headlines everywhere, and there was a growing mistrust in government, reflected everywhere across the music, television, and pop culture of the time. When we talk about the Black Ops timeline, Black Ops 6 comes after the events of the Cold War, but is directly tied to the 1986 flashbacks in Black Ops 2. The aftermath of which has left our heroes in dire circumstances.
Something you should see.
Black Ops 6 blends the rich and gritty history of previous franchise titles with bold new characters, with veteran Frank Woods as our through line in our story. In this new chapter, we see a different side of Woods following his traumatic injury at the hands of Raul Menendez. He's been pulled from the field as he adjusts to a new role within the CIA, often behind a desk or on the other end of a radio. His protege is Troy Marshall, who's been making a name for himself in the field. Marshall is a reluctant leader driven by a strong moral compass. Marshall and Woods are working with another new face in Black Ops 6, CIA handler Jane Harrow. She's a born leader, fearless and brilliant, and helps manage their relationships within the agency. Woods' ability to operate in the shadows has always been hugely valuable to the CIA, whether they want to admit it or not. And Marshall has the ability to make tough calls in the field, ones that Harrow trusts him to make. But when an operation goes wrong, Woods and Marshall are suspended and ultimately forced to go rogue. They soon realize they have to trust each other to get to the bottom of what's going on. Without any of their usual resources, they have to build their own team, recruiting two exciting new characters in Felix Newman, a technical genius, and Savati Dumas, a mysterious assassin. With the end of the Cold War, these former enemies have become new allies. And with the sudden return of notorious operative Russell Adler, who'd gone missing for months, a former ally may have become a new enemy.
For the Black Ops single-player campaign, we prioritized mission variety and unique experiences. Our goal was to offer players a wide variety of mission types, each crafted from the ground up. One moment, you'll be storming a palace. The next, you'll be pulling off a heist at a casino.
You notice they said each one's crafted from the ground up?
And immerse them in vastly different experiences. Within these missions, we wanted gameplay to unfold in multiple ways, giving players the freedom to navigate through them as they see fit. Where we have different combat styles, we also have conversation opportunities where you can talk, barter, and manipulate your way into different experiences. And we think you'll want to replay levels to see them all.
I think this looks fantastic. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
We are excited to offer a variety of different enemy types in the campaign. The goal was to provide different challenges for the player. So whether they choose to go in guns blazing or take a stealthier approach.
Line them up right, you can take them both down with one shot. Nice and quiet.
We've continued to push on what's possible in terms of how our enemy combatants behave. Your enemies will be relentless, constantly seeking to outmaneuver you throughout the levels. They'll cut off escape routes, push on players' location, and force them to think on their feet. We've created certain missions where we give you a high-level objective and a variety of ways to approach that objective. One mission in particular takes place in a vast desert in Iraq. You and your team are hunting down missile launchers with the SAS. It's one of the largest campaign maps that we've ever created.
Look alive, people! They know we're coming!
You'll find that some of our destinations have a startling contrast in look and feel as well. We have a mission that takes place.
You think this looks like a PS4 game? Are you high?
Unlike any past mission in Call of Duty. And what the player does in this space is totally unexpected. And another one of our missions we have set in the harsh tundra of northern Russia.
We are excited to offer an array of brand new equipment, as well as some favorites from the Black Ops universe. RCXD, Tranquilizer Trap, Adrenaline Stim, Homing Knife, Disruptor,
The campaign is grounded within an expanded campaign hub called the Safe House. You might remember we also had that in Black Ops Cold War. But this time, we wanted to think a little bit more broadly about the environment. We chose to have our team's hub located in a more naturalistic setting. So, it's in an abandoned manor by an ocean cliffside. What's most unique is that it used to be a KGB black site, which was operational during the 50s and 60s. This brings a lot of intrigue to the Safe House and will allow players to explore and discover secrets from the past. The team is also bringing back the evidence board, which is still the centerpiece of the Safe House experience, but with brand new upgrades. Players can view the campaign outline, gain deeper insights into missions, and analyze evidence collected throughout missions.
What on the same, please? Okay.
Capture.
Okay, the attacker comes in. I'll go. 3, 2, 1, go! That was sick. Great. I think we got it.
With Black Ops 6, our goal is to create a more connected experience that keeps players immersed across every single mode. We've pushed ourselves at every corner to innovate and craft the most signature Black Ops experience for our players. Movement has been a consistent area of focus and innovation for Call of Duty. And with Black Ops 6, we're redefining movement across the entire game. For the first time ever, players can sprint in any direction and move like a true Black Ops action hero with an entirely new global system we call Omni Movement. This unlocks the ability to move like never before and seamlessly chain combat maneuvers like slide, dive, and our enhanced supine prone in full 360 degrees range of motion.
From the beginning, we started with, you can't do this thing, why? And then realized people actually move that way. What happens if we get rid of that construct? And then instantly it opened up like, oh, if you can sprint in any direction, then you can dive in any direction, you could slide in any direction, which then led to all the on-the-ground movement and everything else chaining together.
It's really been something that changes how you think and play the game, whether it's campaign, MP, or zombies. We truly believe that once you experience Omni Movement, there's no going back. We also have what we're calling intelligent movement, which is a set of features that drastically reduces how many buttons or keys you're pressing to perform various movements. These can be enabled in player options, and they're broken down into 3 categories: sprint assist, mantle assist, and crouch assist. And each of these settings will allow for fine-tuning. Intelligent movement really started with this idea that we want all players to focus on what they want to do and not how to do it. We want every player, regardless of skill level or input or experience with Call of Duty, to be able to engage with Omni Movement and live out their own action hero fantasy in Black Ops 6. We looked at other genres like racing games, where they have these great assist settings that can be turned on and off. Things like traction control or assisted braking, and we really love the idea of taking that thinking and applying it to our own movement options. I don't think this is a one-size-fits-all thing, and I encourage players to play around with combos of these settings to really dial in their preferred setup. Hit zones are regions on a character that react when taking damage or dying. In past games, we've only had 4 regions. For Black Ops 6, we've actually increased that to 9 regions, so now we can determine if that enemy was shot in their left leg or right leg, and then we'll play a bespoke death animation depending on that location that they were hit.
Okay, I like that. That's sick.
So world connectivity is this concept that players' movement and reactions are connected to the world based on their choices. A great example that really shines is a global feature we call corner slicing, where as you round a corner or go through a doorway, your weapon's gonna dynamically rotate in the direction that you're rounding that corner. And since it's dynamic, it'll be a bit more dramatic if you're slowly clearing a room, but won't affect you at all if you're barreling full speed around that same corner. We're constantly looking for opportunities to set the bar with movement and animations in Black Ops 6.
Take cover!
Our art team is super thrilled to show you the best looking characters that we've done. Through our process of photogrammetry, gear was acquired, scanned, and incorporated onto each of our operatives. For our faces, a dynamic real-time analysis of spontaneous performances was captured and processed to make every emotional, impactful moment true to actual life. We made sure to have special attention to the cuticles and make sure that they don't look like they're just freshly cut. There's dirt in between their nails, the oils on their palms as they're sweaty and running through situations that they're in.
Yeah, but it looks like a PS4 game, remember?
We're paying attention to every detail.
This game looks so good.
The thing that I'm most excited about is the number of new weapons from the era that we've added, which includes many that are brand new to the franchise. Our heroes are rogue operatives, and they operate outside the normal playbook. That means they're procuring gear by any means necessary, and it allowed us to pull a unique mix of weapons. We made sure to deliver dozens of unique attachments for every gun, and this allows the players to create a weapon to match any playstyle that you can imagine, all while maintaining the feel and tone of the era.
In Black Ops 6, we really strive for striking that balance between real and hyper-real, but we want to ground our effects in realism. We find real-world reference so that we can match that motion the weight, the timing, then riff off of that and create that hyper-real look that everybody has come to know and love from Call of Duty.
The Black Ops 6 user experience is all about focusing players on what they need when they need it, and our in-game HUD is no different. From the mini-map to the ammo widget to in-game notifications, the Black Ops 6 HUD combines some of our best designs in a clean, streamlined experience.
It does look good.
For the
HUD
first time
does
in
look
Call
good.
of Duty, players will be able to change their HUD in dramatic ways to suit their needs. For instance, streamers can choose a layout optimized for
Early on in Black Ops 6's development, we set a goal to make leveling and XP matter more than ever. Looking back through the Call of Duty and Black Ops catalog, there's a lot of love, both internally at Treyarch and that we see in our community, for how we used to handle prestige. Traditional prestige is back in Call of Duty with Black Ops 6. We've pulled the best of the best from past Call of Duty prestige systems.
What do I think? I think this looks phenomenal. I think this will probably end up being one of the best CODs to date. Like, MW3 was so bad. Like, this looks excellent.
Through the leveling journey again. Black Ops 6 will have 10 prestiges, each with a valuable set of rewards to earn and equip to peacock your status. Players who make it through Prestige 10 aren't done. Instead, they'll graduate into Prestige Master with 1,000 additional levels to climb through and a classified reward to uncover for anyone dedicated enough to make it all the way to the end. The full Prestige system is available on day one in Black Ops 6.
Just the vibe of this direct, it's different than other Call of Duty events they've done. It feels like they're genuinely talking about, like, what they're trying to improve and make better.
A deep dive on it later in the year. For now, here's some insight into our development of Black Ops 6 multiplayer. Our vision since day one has been to craft an approachable and engaging step change of that signature Black Ops multiplayer experience. We focused on supporting 3 core playstyles for launch. Enforcers are the slayers who like to kill and stay on the move. Recon is all about intel and counter-intel play. And strategists are support players who throw their bodies at objectives for the win or focus on taking out enemy score streaks for the team. All of our weapons, gear, and gadgets in multiplayer have been intentionally designed through that lens of supporting these play styles. And of course, it wouldn't be a Black Ops game if you can't relive those action hero moments in theater mode, which we're happy to announce is returning with Black Ops 6. Now, I said we're only getting a taste of MP today, but of course that means you're gonna get some early details on maps.
We're happy to announce that we will be launching with 16 all-new MP maps. We've got 12 core 6v6 and 4 strike maps, which can be played as 6v6 or 2v2. What do players like? What do we know that they want? So we're back to our classic 3-lane maps. We've got fast, frenetic experiences, and we have that balance with more medium-sized, like better for hardcore pacing to keep the action flowing, but still have meaningful decisions for the player to make. The maps have their own stories, and we have multiplayer taking place after the campaign, after you finish it. So don't want to get into too many spoilers there, but you'll experience some of those locations through the multiplayer lens.
Yeah, they're speaking specifically to what Call of Duty and people have wanted back.
Today, but couldn't leave you without giving you just one more thing.
Zombies.
Round-based Zombies is back, and we're picking up the Dark Aether storyline where we left it. We're excited to announce that there will be 2 brand new maps available at launch, with a curated mix of fan-favorite features and new elements to discover. For those new to zombies, it's our unique take on the cooperative horde mode, where every map is packed full of powerful weapons and upgrades, deadly enemies, and tons of secrets to uncover. The legacy of zombies is incredibly important to Treyarch, and we are so proud of what the mode is bringing to players in Black Ops 6. As you've heard today, the innovations in movement systems will also be coming to zombies. Plus, there are many additional zombie-specific features, both new and returning. This is going to be a truly epic return for round-based zombies. Be on the lookout for more intel coming later this year.
Steph interviewed AB. Mark?
Now, we know we only gave you a little taste of multiplayer here today, so make sure to mark your calendars for our worldwide multiplayer reveal event at Call of Duty Next on August 28th. Make sure to stay tuned for details and watch your favorite streamers get hands-on Black Ops 6 so you can be prepped and ready to jump into our MP beta and feel Omni movement for yourself. We'll be sharing so much more about Black Ops 6 in the coming months and look forward to seeing your reactions and your feedback from our open beta coming up this fall and into launch. And it's not just about launch, because the team is already focused on delivering a ton of content in the live seasons, which we'll be sharing more about. Am I allowed to talk about Warzone yet?
No.
Our goal on Black Ops 6 was, and still is, to make something that is the best work we've ever done, and frankly, the most fun to play. To do that, we deconstructed all of our gameplay, our systems, and content plans, and repeatedly asked how something could be better. In some cases, that led us to huge innovations like Omni Movement, where we're now allowing players to move how real people and operators move. In other cases, it led us back to some of our classic systems like Prestige, then taking that classic system through the ringer and making updates and improvements. Across our weapons, gear, operators, maps, and more, a huge push has been to hit the highest visual and audio fidelity possible. The campaign tells an all-new Black Ops story where you're forced to go rogue and are being hunted by the teams that trained you. On top of that, the team is really focused on mission and engagement variety. Multiplayer is a key ingredient in the DNA of Black Ops, and hopefully, in this sneak peek, it was clear that every single part of the MP game loop will be improved and better than ever, from movement, to shooting, to footsteps, to engagement systems, to death. And last but definitely not least, the triumphant return of round-based zombies. There is so much more to share across all 3 game modes before the game officially launches on October 25th. On behalf of the entire team, we can't wait for you to play Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
So remember when they were talking about Modern Warfare 3 and I said that it was just like nothing but red flags? You know, they had the open combat missions. There were all the rumors that it was going to be like a DLC, and then they decided to change it. You're like, do you remember that? Like, I'm telling you, I don't get red flags from that. That sounds like a studio that said, let's rethink everything. Let's try to improve everything. Let's go back to what made this game great. 3-lane maps, prestige, round-based zombies. Let's make the movement significantly better. Like, and just the story alone, like Robert Redford, and then you have all of the history tied up in what we're going to be doing. I think the story in Black Ops 6 looks great. I think this was probably one of the best Xbox showcases I've ever watched. My biggest gripe is the lack of release dates. There were not tons. There were a good bit of trailers that were just cinematic, no release window, no release date, and then we still don't have hard dates for Avowed and Indiana Jones. It just is odd to me. It's like, I don't know why. That would have been such a show of strength to let people know halfway through the year, here are the dates you're getting our big games the rest of this year. Like, showing us Gear 6 is exciting. Showing us more Fable is exciting. Well, I think actually Fable did put 2025 up on the board. Yeah, it wasn't Fable. Yeah, Perfect Dark. Great. I'm excited, but no release window or whatever. South of Midnight, same deal. It's like I get when a third-party dev shows up that you can't do that, but like State of Decay 3 also, like no release window. It's just like it's easy to have a banger event when you can put stuff like that in there, and then it's like, well, we have no idea when it's coming. We have no idea, what the release window even is. That's always a gripe I have. It doesn't matter who it is, whether it's Keighley or PlayStation. I don't like having zero release window. I know 2025 isn't a date, but at least okay, that's next year. Like, at least you can set your mind and be like, okay, we've got some big stuff coming next year. Like, 2025 is shaping up to be a very, very good year. Why put a date on something if the game's not ready? Why show it to me if it's not ready, Paul? Like, as a gamer, I've gotten to the point, this is my preference. Doesn't have to be your preference. My preference is, if you're just going to show me a really awesome cinematic and give me no release window, I don't care. I don't want to know about your game. There's too many games coming out. This year is jam-packed. You don't need... I know why they do it, okay? I get why they do it. Everybody does it. I just don't like it. It's like when I watch a showcase and there's trailers like that, it irritates me. I'm like, well, okay, so great. Perfect Dark looked incredible. It looked so good. It looked so good. And then it's like, well, okay, we have no idea what you're targeting. Yeah, Doom is multi-plat. Doom officially tweeted that like a minute after the trailer hit. So, anyone can announce anything. Remember when we saw Stalker many years ago? I've heard about Stalker for forever. Right, and then you only run the risk. The Stalker they showed us today does not look like the Stalker they showed us years ago. The Stalker years ago had like really unrealistic lighting. There's no way you're going to achieve that level of fidelity with like lighting and muzzle flare. And so what happens? Well, when we finally get to see Stalker and Stalker finally comes out, well, it's not going to look like any of those trailers. So it immediately makes me wonder. It's like, is State of Decay 3 even going to look like that? It was just a cinematic. Is Perfect Dark even going to look like that? I don't know. It could be 3 years away. We have no idea. So I'm not criticizing the show for doing it. I'm just saying that's my only major gripe. It was an excellent show, high marks. They crushed it. They kicked off the event very, very strong with Black Ops 6. The Doom trailer was absolutely killer. I thought having Phil kick off the event was a good sign of strength for the brand instead of like, leaving him out of the picture. Right? I thought that was a good start. I thought the State of Decay cinematic was great, but it's like, okay, you announced this game 4 years ago, and 4 years later, you only have a cinematic for us, and you don't have a release window. Like, that immediately makes me say, oh, that I take points off for that. It's like, bro, it's been 4 years. Like, you don't have anything other than a cinematic? Wasn't there gameplay? I don't remember seeing gameplay. I looked away a little bit. I was trying to send a tweet. Well, we can go back and look. State of Decay 3. I think it was all cinematic for State of Decay 3. I don't think any of this was gameplay. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's simulated gameplay. They're switching from a cinematic sequence to like an over-the-shoulder shot. It's like, I don't know if that's gameplay or not. Like, that could just be fully rendered, because look at how they're setting it up. I'm always suspicious of gameplay like that. I'm always suspicious. They did the same thing with Fable. It's like, okay, I hope it looks that good. I've been doing this for 10 years, and when you show gameplay like that, I'm always like, okay, that's usually faked and fully rendered. You know what I mean? It seems like simulated gameplay. It doesn't seem like actual raw gameplay. That doesn't feel... The same thing with Fable. It's like, okay, you're interweaving really quick shots where it's like cinematics, and then it looks like simulated gameplay. It's like, we have been here before. We've been watching trailers I've been watching game trailers as a commentator for 10 years, and simulated gameplay is easy to spot. And they did it with State of Decay, and I'm fairly certain they did it with Fable. Dragon Age, I was okay with no gameplay because they're doing a gameplay thing on the 11th, and then there's a release date. That's this year, so that's exciting. Fallout 76, okay. Expedition 33 looks good. Another game with no release window. South of Midnight, no release. Wait, South of Midnight didn't have a release window, did it? I don't want to be incorrect here. I'm pretty sure it didn't. South of Midnight. I'm going to the very end of the trailer right now to make sure. Oh, no. It said coming 2025. Okay, I'm sorry. I was incorrect. South of Midnight did say 2025. Okay. The WoW expansion, Metal Gear trailer looked great. I don't think we have a release date for that yet. That's not a first-party Xbox title, so that's not on them. Sea of Thieves. Flintlock. I didn't realize Flintlock was coming that soon. I don't know if we even had a release date for that. That's July 18th. That was exciting. Age of Mythology. Perfect Dark looked fantastic. Like, it actually looked like exactly what you would want from a modern take on Perfect Dark. I thought it looked very good. Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. Blizzard cinematics always go super hard. Fable, we finally, at the very least, again, we got confirmation that they're aiming at next year. But again, and I actually thought the character looked better. I thought they did a good job. Like, and everybody's I know is going to say, like, oh, they always fill their game with uggos. I thought it looked more like the model, right? You got more straight-on shots of her. You got more, like, where she wasn't making a weird face. She just was standing there. So I thought that looked good. Again, I just want to see raw gameplay. I'm tired of what looks like simulated gameplay. I say this about everything. I say this about Space Marine 2. I say this about any trailer that gives me, like, a suspicious vibe. I'm like, why are you so scared to show us raw gameplay, right? Like Flintlock, as an example, or South of Midnight. Those were good showcases of gameplay, and so was Doom. It's like, I know that's what it's going to look like. That didn't feel simulated. It didn't feel fake. It feels real. I think that should be the goal, is you should be showing gameplay that feels real and genuine and not something that is simulated. So I thought the showcases of gameplay for Doom and for Shattered Space looked good too for Starfield. And then South of Midnight, I thought South of Midnight and Flintlock, I thought the gameplay looked real and genuine and raw. There was a heads-up display. They went from point A to point B so you could see things transpire, not like quick shots of somebody stabbing and then nothing, and then quick shots of somebody swinging and then nothing. It's like the way State of Decay and Fable does it, it just makes me suspicious. It's like, why don't you just show me raw gameplay? Like, why you got to slice it up like that? Frag Punk, another 5v5 hero shooter because we don't have enough of those. Winter's Burrow, Mixtape, Flight Sim. Flight Sim always looks absolutely incredible, right? It just looked incredible. ESO, always good to include them. Life is Strange. I don't really play those games, so. Are you going to be okay for how the showcases went today? I'm not sure what you mean. Indiana Jones, I actually thought looked better. It's classic Indiana Jones. I thought the setups, the scenes, the dialogue, the way it all flowed. I feel like they really spent some time watching the original movies and trying to capture the spirit of Indiana Jones. I really do. I think they did a great job with it. I know the gameplay has people all saying, like, why are we doing first person? Why are we doing first person? I think I can get over that. I think it looked funny, right? You're being pretty liberal with gameplay too. As long as they had a release year, you're counting it. Yeah, if you have a release year, I'm good. I'm like, okay, cool. It's coming out next year. No release year. I'm like, oh, what? Wu Chang Fallen Feathers and Mecha Break, the Gundam game, looks great. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, that game disappeared off the face of the earth. I remember the original gameplay trailers of Wu Chang Fallen Feathers getting a lot of criticism because people were saying that it looked too much like Dark Souls or something. It was like they claimed like animations were ripped like one-to-one. I thought Wu Chang Fallen Feathers looked amazing. Avowed, it's hard to say. All of the combat sequences were very quick. I thought what they showed of the combat looked better than what we had seen, but still, I'm scratching my head as to why you wouldn't have hard dates for Avowed and Indiana Jones. We're halfway through the year, and we know that Stalker's landing in September. Okay, so there's 5 months that aren't September. Like, one of these games coming, right? I don't think they would want to step on Stalker 2's feet. I think they'd want to spread these games out. Atom Fall looked pretty cool, kind of like Atomic Heart. The AC Shadows gameplay looked absolutely sick. People were saying it looked like Ghost of Tsushima. I'm a huge fan of Ghost of Tsushima, and I played it for a ton of hours. I did not see anything in AC Shadows that reminded me of Tsushima. He looks like he handles himself completely different. It's like heavy, it's weighty, there's shoves, there's kicks, there's slams. He's like a samurai meets linebacker. Like he's like this big thundering warrior with big heavy weapons. He doesn't feel like the finesse and the stance fluidity of Jin Sakai. So I did not get a Tsushima vibe at all. Stalker 2, I think, again, looks great, but I think, again, that's a reason why you don't show your game that early. It doesn't look like those early trailers. There's been significant downgrades, and that's fine, but that's just a lesson in don't show your game so early. Then they announced hardware, which I don't understand. A white digital only Series X and then color options for the Series X. Like, okay, I'm not really sure what they're doing there. We didn't get the handheld that people said they were going to show or that they were going to tease. And then the Gears E-Day trailer, awesome, looked great. I love the concept of going back and playing as a young Marcus and having young Dom and kind of seeing how things play out. I think that's a cool concept. Again, that's another trailer with, no release window. So that's really my only complaint. That's it. I don't have any complaints outside of the lack of release dates. Outside of that, I thought everything looked fantastic. The other minor complaint is that both State of Decay 3 and Fable are doing like the simulated gameplay thing. Like, that's pretty minor though. I think my only major complaint is the lack of release dates. That bothers me in every showcase. I don't care if it's... I criticized Sony for that last year. I said, what the heck are you guys doing with the cinematics of Fair Games and Concord? That irritated me. I was like, don't do that. Gears is coming to PS5. Has that been officially announced anywhere? A $5 super chat tip from P-Dub H-Town says, great showcase. Sony could easily have a showcase that caliber or better. Just let us know what their first-party studios are working on. Oh, for sure. For sure. Like, I feel like PlayStation's on the other end of the spectrum. Like, they just don't say anything. They don't say anything or show anything. That's why what they did last year ticked me off. I was like, if you're going to be this quiet, Sony, when you finally come out and do a showcase, don't give me cinematic trailers without release dates or release windows. That's freaking dumb. You can't go that quiet for that long and be like, here's a cinematic. All right, see you later. I found the Perfect Dark gameplay to be a bit questionable. Since we don't have a release window, it likely is really early, but also then very much rendered, simulated, and cleaned up. But if that's what they're going for, I think it looked great. If that's what Perfect Dark ends up playing like, right? It might not exactly look like that. Maybe it goes through some downgrades or whatever. If it ends up playing like that, I'm good. I thought that looked really cool. I thought it looked like a great rendition of, like how you would do Perfect Dark in a more modern game. I thought it looked great. I did. I mean, I think we're eating really, really well. Flintlock's coming in July. Stalker's coming in September. Then Indiana Jones and both Avowed are coming this year. Flight Sim's coming in November. And Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming in November. And then October is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Like, if you only pay attention to the games coming this year, I think it's a really good showcase. It's like, yeah, even if you just pay attention to the games coming this year, I think it looks great. No, I know Doom is coming to PS5. That's not Gears. The Gears was what somebody in chat said. I know about Doom coming and being multiplat. I said that in the showcase, and I also tweeted it. Yeah. I think you have a really good showcase. If the only thing I can complain about is like the lack of release dates, I think you had a good showcase in my mind. If that's the only thing I can walk away and be like, yeah, if that's my only gripe, I think they did a great job. I think the PC Games show is it's at 4, isn't it? I believe it's at 4 Eastern. We have like an hour to kill. We may go hang out with members instead of sitting here on this. I don't want this Call of Duty thing to be too long. Yeah, their thing is at 4. Let's see if I can get an image, and we'll just do like a members waiting room. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, I'm going to set up a waiting room. This is a great reason to be a member. You guys absolutely crushed it. This is a great start for the week. You need to get 400 members this week to make me play a scary game. You already have 110 on the week. I did the 20 that I owe you. I'm going to create a members-only PC gaming show waiting room because I don't want to sit here for an hour. I don't want to make this Call of Duty stream any longer than it has to be. That doesn't seem like a good idea. All right, so I'm going to reuse these settings, and I'm going to go PC gaming show waiting room. This will be the PC gaming show waiting room, and then I'm just going to change the thumbnail to that. And then this will just be a members-only stream. Any big announcements from PC? No, it's just a hokey event. It's fun. Like, you know, for being the Master Race, their event's always a bit, you know, cheesy. You know, it's always a bit cheesy. I like Day 9, and I like Frankie. They're nice people. They're good people. It just is usually pretty hokey. There's usually one or two, you know, pretty good showings, and everything else is, you know, just kind of not. So, all right. Game Pass looking stacked. Oh, if you're a freaking Game Pass subscriber, dude, oh my gosh, yeah, that was a good show. That was a good show for Game Pass, dude. You know? All right, let me give you guys a link. If you're a paying member or you've been a gifted member, look, we're gonna go to a waiting room, and then we'll do the PC game show after. I was just reading what Jeff Keighley was saying about the Gears game. All right, there's a link in chat. Thanks so much for being a member, and you may have received a member just today. Huge start to the week. It's Sunday. We watched the Xbox Showcase. We watched the Call of Duty Direct. Now we're going to hang out in a PC gaming show waiting room, and you need 400 members this week to make me play a scary game, and you got a great head start on that with 110 members. And the Xbox Showcase was great. I thought they did a great job. My only major complaint is a lack of release dates. And then Black Ops 6 is looking incredible. I feel like they're really speaking to the audience and the long-standing fans. I'm going to end the previous stream and bring everybody over with a redirect. And, yeah, that was